I'm noticing, I mean, just with, again, going with the regular term entertainment of things getting faster. Speed has become, there's a lot of acceleration. So editing has become faster, the kind of colors have become brighter and higher contrast, and like everything is getting pushed a little more. But and then you're finding it difficult to let it run for like 2 hours, 3 hours. So the time frame is like coming down more and more.
The attention spans of audiences are coming down a lot more. Where people could sit through a 4-hour film a few decades ago, people are kind of walking out at the interval for many movies today. It's not necessarily a reflection of the quality of the films, but it's a reflection of, I think, people's attention span.
I would imagine that another 30, 40 years later, it's just going to be a constant assault of images, of ideas, of something to just keep you like, what next? Okay, fine, that is over. Okay, fine, what next? So I just see people getting more and more voracious with regard to their appetite of wanting to be entertained at all times. Oh, I don't find this interesting, give me something else.
For live performances, exploring different spaces is going to be important. Space is becoming, real estate is becoming a huge constraint, and we're going to find not a growth. In the 50s and 60s and 70s, we had a growth in the number of performance spaces. I think that's not, performance spaces per se are not going to be as many, but we're going to find different avenues like atriums of offices or malls or the terrace of a hotel being used as performance spaces. So as real estate comes at a premium for live performances, that's going to be. Where real estate is not a premium is on your iPad or in your TV, and that's where a lot of the entertainment is also going to converge. So there is going to be a lot of convergence on gaming, on things being sent in.
I think the future, if you want to call it that, even I personally think you're already in that future. But if there is a further future, then it will be extreme individuation, extreme isolation, extreme separation, which will change the character of this mass. Meaning, you make a movie and maybe put it on, say, YouTube, and there may be 10 million hits for it. So in that sense, you have a mass audience. But each of those 10 million will have a particular way of viewing, a very, very specific, individuated way of viewing. It will be very different in character from all of us together going into an auditorium and watching a movie and getting excited when Rajinikanth does something, or MGR does something, or Amitabh Bachchan does something. There's a mass excitement that will be completely lost in the new forms of entertainment.
We are going to create a cinema according to very specific targets, because they are going to be circles according to affinity. So we have an affinity with cinema as a cult cinema. So people in these circles, they always find spaces in the internet where to communicate and where to express their own art, their own perspectives, right? So everything is going to be like that.
Squeeze the toothpaste onto the brush and the whole tube sings to me my favorite song. And so this whole thing of creating this illusory space around you, which is supposed to be your space, you personalized it, you are supposedly in control of it, and yet it's completely distancing you from the other person, the neighbor, the society, and so on.
I think that now cinema has lost the aura of exclusivity it used to have. And of course, the system is still fighting with two elements, celebrities and special effects. And people still buy that. But they are losing space, they are losing terrain.
People no more want photographs because everything's available online in any website of their favorite stars. It's no more like a huge thing that you keep it safe in your secret cupboard or a poster that you put it up in a wall. Now, the whole concept or how you even look at a star has changed. The star concept is there, but they still seem a little more accessible. Like the minute you say Surya or Nayanthara, just have to type in the name, you've got all the pictures online.
Of course, I don't say that the great playwrights, they won't have a space. I think this is going to be the century of the playwrights, as the actors used to have the 20th century. Because I think now the concept of celebrity is going to be a little more relying on the playwright. And I will say why. Because as technologies improve, the actor can be used really as a moped in film. We already see cinema with cartoons. I don't know, of course, we'll have to see how the concept of celebrity will evolve, but everything changes. Not everything. This is the concept today. We have to understand that concepts change constantly now and quickly.
Technology is going to play and has played a major role, but there are downsides to it. There are, like you saw recently with, for example, this some complete loony who has made this film on what Islamic society is and has uploaded it on YouTube and has managed to create riots across the world. So this mischief factor is also there, which the only way the states and administrations can respond to it is through more and more control. So this game will constantly be played. There'll be tremendous opening out and then tremendous attempt at control and censorship.
See, for instance, the folk music, which was part of everybody's life, you know, just 50, 60 years ago, maybe 70 years ago. Today, film music has completely supplanted it. And film music doesn't have any identity, doesn't have any individuality. And it's something that doesn't arise from life. It's a manifested, made-up thing. You may take a few strains from folk music, from Arabia, or whatever part of the world. From Japan to Jamaica, you can take folk strains and use them. But it's still not indigenous. And it's not a natural process of growth. So it will never be a part of our lives. It'll come and go. I think most of the things that we now has as entertainment, that is, which appeals to a larger number of people, I think they will have a short life. They won't last, you know. I mean, they'll please you today and they'll be gone tomorrow. I mean, you won't have things like the Beatles happening much, I think, or Naushad, for instance. That's what I think.
The entire success of the Tamil song and dance sequence in the cinema is because of robbing the Ghana part and the Tappatam and all that. So that's not, that's once again historically, originally a material belonging to certain specific communities. It is just robbed and put in a different space and they commoditize it, and then those guys can't perform it anymore. There's a copyright on it. I can't use that because I'll get sued by the producer of the film or the music company. So this strange dichotomy, it's going to happen more and more. It will lead to a new kind of what is called a cultural battle, and in the Indian context certainly. And the moment one sector, that is the corporate sector, begins poaching on the other sectors, it's going to unleash a new kind of a war. And I think the cultural war is the next war that is going to come. So I see entertainment, the concept entertainment, leading to that kind of rather violent consequences. Well, I think the most lucid, at the same time the most damaging definition of this has come from a report created, if I'm not mistaken, in the year 2006 by this marketing agency who have made a projection for the world. It's a global projection as to what will be what they call the sunrise industries. What is it that will gain more and more profits and more sources of revenue? And they have not said real estate, they have not said property, they have not said industrial technology, they have not said rocket science, they have said entertainment. So entertainment is the new profit maker that is emerging on the scene.
Sometimes there could be really sensitive issues, or there could be very technical things to be learnt. We create games where we get the participants or the employees of the company to actually play those games in an interactive mode. And they get in, it's a simulation, they come in, except they're not fighting guns at each other, but they're literally playing the roles of companies, trying to solve some problems in a massive context, and they actually play it. So they're not literally going through Tomb Raider firing at people, but it's more a corporate version of Tomb Raider where they're coming in and making financial decisions and executing and making people decisions and doing all the kind of things. For kids, for example, ask any parent, and a parent would say they'd rather any day have them play an app that teaches them vocabulary, that teaches them mathematics, that teaches them some basic analytical skills, rather than just having, trying to throw a bird off a hoop to crash a pig or something like that. So the Angry Birds is a very interesting thing. The latest version of Angry Birds is actually Angry Birds Space, which has been promoted by NASA. And NASA is actually doing Angry Birds experiment in space on projectile movement and anti-gravity movement. And they are actually tying in, and there was this effort by NASA's talking to school children on how the physics of gravity and space movement, etc. works. So that's something we're seeing, as it's going on, and that's a very interesting way to, you're really merging entertainment with education. And if a kid who plays Angry Birds wants to grow up to be an astronaut, we know where that came from. I think that convergence of technology with, the entertainment of technology with actual education and actual real mainstream things is going to be very large, and that's going to be a massive move.
You will have these, these glasses on your eyes at all times where information is just constantly coming in, going out, coming in, going out. So you'll get half your reality is coming from your real eye and half the other one is coming from Google, and probably that's where it's headed.